SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Big A Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, as we kick off another week of racing, our Thursday 3:05 post. How you doing today, Anthony?
I'm good.
Glad to hear it.
I like the twilights that start the week or end the week. I prefer these to the midweek twilights.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
I
like
hope all
this.
of you are happy to know that Anthony likes this.
Plus, I get to cover more Belmont racing on HRN.
Plus, you get to start late.
Plus, I get to start late.
Yeah, you can make Bobby work on his own, so it's even
Yeah.
better for you.
Correct.
That's
right.
the real reason you like it. Just
Yeah,
own it.
Any edge you can take, right?
All right. Head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member of Naira Bets. NairaBets.com. It's all about the Preakness. Naira Bets is all about
It's Saturday,
the
Andy.
Preakness. The good news is we'll be rid of this slate. At least maybe next week. You never know. We could have it up. Just put a 7 there. Match 200. We'll match with $200 your initial deposit.
Scribble it out and put the 7.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. We'll scribble it out and put Belmont, whatever number it is, for that. Keep the money in the game. Keep the money. Support racing in New York. What do we have? A 50-50, I believe, to the app and the app only. 50-50, Churchill and Belmont. Of course, they'll be covered America's Day at the Races. We'll give you a $10 bonus through Naira Bets. And as we said, 3 to 8:30, covering all the races from here and the races from Churchill Downs as well. It's a little disconcerting because we're sitting here and one of the two TVs we have is showing the in-house feed of the other desk empty, but it feels
Our
like it's
old
our
desk.
desk that's
Yeah.
empty. And I keep looking at that and thinking,
Right.
but we're here.
But we're here.
So it's a little confusing. We're down there on the bottom.
You're going to be
but not at
okay? Yeah, I'm down there.
the- It's a little confusing.
I'm hard to miss. I'm down there at the bottom.
You're shrinking.
I am?
All right. Today's first race. I had trouble with today's first race. It was one of these races where, to be honest, I didn't really have anybody I was overly enthusiastic about. What is your plan with Scotty?
My plan with Scotty is to hope that his 2 fast track races, which are significantly faster on paper than his wet track and his 2 turf races, that form holds up and he's able to, I don't know, come back to a race like he ran 2 back. Or
But
3 back.
are they even good enough to win?
I
though?
don't know if they are. I don't trust any of them in here. And my other problem with him, and this is a horse that I actually like today at 6. I mean, I don't love him, but I picked him. He has a lot of time between his races. And when these bottom level horses have that, it's not the best sign ordinarily.
Well, the best race he ever ran, though, was when he ran 24 days after a previous start. So that sort of belies your argument.
Well, I mean, he still has 6 weeks. And, yes, I was going to get to that point that his best race did seem to come when he had the least amount of time between. But still, he'd have to improve.
Yeah, he's a 3-year-old running against Olders, and he's been running in 3-year-old restricted races in the past, for what it's worth. I didn't think he was impossible either. I didn't really love him. I didn't think Kith was impossible. And Pier 40 is kind of the horse to beat in here. I mean, the Nodas are a barn that win races in bunches. They'll win a lot. Their horses will run better than their past performances suggest for a short period of time, and then they'll sort of go into I wouldn't say high. They run horses there. They just go into sort of sleep mode for months and months, and their horses are running very well right now. So maybe Pier 40 will run his best races, and Pier 40 is the fastest horse in the race, and he's got Ira Ortiz, but he's also 1 for 22 lifetime with 6 seconds, and when the Notice had him, and when other people have had him, he's been a horse who's been in spots where he's appeared to be the absolute obvious winner on paper, and he's found ways to lose.
And I think that's the best point to make when it comes to horses. In all likelihood, going to be under 2-1. David has him late at 8-5 on the morning line, and he's
got all the
kind of horse-
accoutrements.
He does, and I think the best point you made was the fact that he's kind of pulled the same act for whoever's had him
for a long
time. So, like you, I assume like you put him second because obviously his best races kind of bury these horses, and you try to pick
I don't know if
against
they
them.
bury them, they win.
try to pick against them and find the horse that's going to be a middling price. That's what I did, and I'm assuming that's what you did with Allied Invasion.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Allied Invasion, I never felt he was a turf horse, even though he won on the turf earlier, though obviously he ran very poorly last time. That was a bit of a wide trip. I don't really have a lot to say. He's run fast enough races on the dirt in the past. He was on the sloppy track in his last dirt race. I don't have any real confidence in him. I'm just hoping he's dropping back into this spot in the dirt, and maybe he'll run his race. I don't love him. I just didn't love any of the others, and I found I don't need Kith at a relatively short price. I don't need Pier 40 at a relatively short price, and nobody else really did anything for me, and at least he has back races that are fast enough, though clearly there is a real question of whether or not it's even reasonable to expect that he can run any of those back races. I'll have to hope that he does.
Yeah, at least, listen, you're going to find out. You're not going to find out at 5-2.
Right. It's not a horse I'm overly enthusiastic, but I just felt like I couldn't settle for the shorter prices in race 1. Race number 2, a couple of scratches in this race. The 4 Happy Soul, we'll take a look at his race at Keeneland. He's going to be favored, I would assume, in here, and he's the horse to beat. I don't have a big knock at all. I just think he's sort of logical.
Yeah, sort of logical. Caught a sloppy track first time out. Gets run down. You know, we see
he didn't
this.
run badly. I don't think the sloppy track got him beat.
No, I'm just saying he was honest.
It
was just a statement. Slop. You know, I think over the course of the last 3 meets down at Keeneland, we've seen these Wesley Ward runners get run down a lot more than they used to.
Well, a lot more than they did when he was winning 15 of 17 races. He's still winning at a high percentage,
to
be fair.
He is. And this horse ran fine. Yeah, I mean, no real knock. The knock, obviously, and the horse don't know this, but the knock is the price. This horse is, in all item, David, again, 7-5. I would think this horse is going to be closer to even money unless Lemieux, the horse that you and I both put on top, takes any kind of real money. It was very hard to make.
Do you think he's named after the hockey player or the Grateful Dead archivist?
I'm going to assume the hockey player, since he's the son of Nyquist, who was also.
Oh, by the way, in case you're interested, I have
What do you have?
This is Sundays. Picked the wrong one off my desk.
50-50.
No, just wasn't paying attention. Lemieux, I can't read my handwriting. This horse is a half to somebody okay, and I can't read it.
Oh.
Another something, I think, maybe. It's disgraceful. Doug O'Neill horse that got a 74 buyer.
Okay.
I guess there's talk of this horse. He's working well. If David's got him 9-5, there must be a story on him, right?
Well, yes and no. Even with the scratches, I don't know what I can run. Who's Claudio Gonzalez, one of the leading trainers in the Mid-Atlantic shipping in. I don't know where else you would really want to go here as far as connections, pedigrees. I mean, you assume that Ward's going to be favored with a horse that ran well enough on debut, and you assume that that Marcassi, you know, one of the only other prolific.
Well, he's showing fast works.
Yeah,
and
the fast
works. If you go through the other horses that are running, the 1 cost $2,500. The 5, who's run twice and not run very well, cost $1,000. The 7 cost $1,700.
Yeah.
So you're left with a Wesley Ward horse that ran well and a firster that cost $100,000. It's a half to a horse that ran respectably well with good works. They're the two that are going to take money. You and I both took the firster. Race number 3. I guess Buston Bay is the horse to beat in this race. We'll take a look at Buston Bay 2 back. It was a good claim by Antonio Arriaga. He got the horse for $25,000. He knew there was a $200,000 Stallion Series race, and he managed to get third and get $20,000 for finishing third. So he got almost all.
Doesn't he? He get 12% now. He might
have
got a free horse.
$24,000, right? And somebody says to me, "Why is he running for 30 and not a non-winners or 1?" He's being realistic. He claimed the horse for a quarter. He's already out, right? He gets claimed. He gets that. He gets the purse for this race, which his share is going to be about $22,000, and it's just like a big win-win-win for the connections. He seems very logical to me. I'm not against him. I'm not sure he's as good as that 72 buyer makes him look, but you don't have him in the top 4?
I don't like this horse. She runs one. I'll tell you one thing. She runs one too. They make $40,000 in 6 weeks.
How is she not in your top 4?
I don't trust that race two back to be.
Okay. What about the 68 she ran before it?
Yeah, I guess.
But you don't have her in the top 4.
I'm aware. I don't like her. I don't like her at a short price.
Okay, she don't have the top 4?
I don't like her.
Okay.
I thought there was some interest. I thought there were a couple of
please
more interesting
regale us with stories of all the interesting horses.
Well, I thought Baba you know, Bobo ran last time against 2 New York bred stakes fillies and a filly in Adwa who had run pretty well this winter, knocked down a couple of wins, hit the board a couple of times on a sloppy track. I mean, she
ran the same figure she ran in a dry track.
She did. What I'm saying is she had the 10 weeks between races. Now she's got the race under her belt. I would expect a little improvement. She gets Luis Saez. She's going to be forwardly placed.
She's not impossible.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I thought she made some sense. I thought Chloe Rose.
We'll show Chloe Rose's last race.
A little short on the line. But Chloe Rose is a horse who has already won at the mile. Last 2 races against a touch more expensive straight threes last time. Now, this is probably a comparable spot. And on paper, I mean, if you look at the field, it's a comparable spot. You ordinarily 32 life against the older, probably going to be tougher. But, I mean, she did not catch the toughest 32 life against older she's ever.
No, but her last race is the only race she's ever run that was fast enough to compete in here. I don't think she's impossible, but I thought she was one that. See, I think she's the one that's going to take money you want to avoid in here. I wasn't a particularly big fan. What about the Glenmore makes her more likely? She's a slow horse that Irad Ortiz is riding that's going to take money because of Irad.
I'm not saying
she's about 1/10 as likely to be competitive as the 5.
I'm not saying she's more likely, but she's going to be 2-3 times the price, I would think.
She should be 10 times the price.
Oh.
Well, she should. Should be a significantly higher price.
Okay.
Okay. And you and I just agree. What about the horse you picked on top? You haven't discussed her.
Well, if you throw out the last race where she kind of got herself involved in a pace she didn't belong involved in, I thought she made sense off her race 2 back. And maybe you don't want to trust that, but she's also.
It's hard to trust her race 2 back because it's completely incongruous with any other race she's run, and she's a 1 for 15 with 9 seconds and third.
I'll say this: you look at her overall card.
It's bad.
She's kept better company than these horses have kept. Did I Stutter had a nice winter? Halo City had a good run for 7 weeks.
She's run successive, just slow figures. I mean, I don't think she's impossible in here. I don't, you know. But once again, she's like a 7-2 second or third choice in the line. So listen, I have to bet Karamoka in here. I bet Karamoka last time. Obviously, was a terrible play. She was a gigantic price, and she was virtually eased. But she did catch a sloppy sealed track against ridiculously better than these horses. If I'm going to bet her last time, she didn't handle the turf 2 back. The race before that, she was running against much better. The time before that, she'd got completely left and was wide against a gold rail. And she ran a race in her debut that would win this race. Now, there is a very, very significant chance that Karamoka can't put 2 feet in front of each other anymore. There's no question about it. On the other hand, she's going to be a big price. She does have in her PPs a race that could easily win this spot, and she does have some viable excuses in her races. She's running out of them, and the good news for me with her today is that I no longer ever have to lose any money on her after today. But I have to give her one more chance because I don't really overly respect anyone in here. I think Buston Bay is way the horse to beat. We disagree on that, and I have to give Karamoka another chance. But I'm hoping she doesn't stumble coming out of the gate, throw the rider, so I have to lose more money on her next time, because it is getting tiresome with her. But she does have
run 1-2 or get beat 20 lengths, so you could be done with the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. I got
you.
no problem with that. I would like to move on from her, but I have to bet on her in this race today because one thing you and I do agree about that race. There's nobody here that scares me whatsoever.
Absolutely not. If you have a fuzzy in here, you gotta play a little bit.
Race number 4. I thought was another tricky race. Kicks off the pick 6, $1 minimum carryover component. No CAW money as well. 15% takeout. What'd you do here?
I went to daily briefing. I'm taking a shot on the cutback.
This is Louis Saez Day. Is it Kira McLaughlin's birthday? Did he call you or
No.
something? Did he send you some pastry or something? Because
Who else did
I've
I
noticed a
pick for Louis
recurring
Saez?
theme.
I picked the maiden. And who else? I picked those in the
picked
first.
Scotty.
Oh, Scotty's on Scotty.
Lemieux?
I didn't notice
You
he was
talked
on
about
Scotty.
Baba, who you have third.
I didn't notice he was on
So you are
Scotty.
3 for 4 with Louis.
I did not notice he was on Scotty.
I'm noticing a Louis Saez theme. So, okay. Was it a good pastry? You can share. Come on, we're all friends.
No, it's
Was
funny.
it like
I
something
actually stopped
special?
at Sapienza Bakery. I
Kieran,
didn't have anything today.
Kieran, come clean.
It's not Kieran.
Did you send him a
Right
pastry?
away, it's Kieran.
There's some story.
This guy always.
Well, there's a huge Louis
You're the best
Saez.
handicapper in the world. When your horses win and you like horses, but when I have horses, it's just, I have a tip or it's a story.
I'm noticing a Louis Saez theme here.
Man, oh man.
I'm noticed. Is there not a distinct Louis Saez?
I didn't. To be honest with you, I didn't even notice he was on Scotty.
I hope you didn't pick T Loves a Fight.
I did not.
Okay, that's a good thing.
This horse draws the outside over at Aqueduct. They tried to run this horse on the turf first time, and it rained off. This horse got on the turf finally with the race under her belt last time out. drew the outside post with the blinkers. Now the blinkers come off. They ran it without the blinkers first time. Blinkers come off for the third start off the break.
She's never been able to put 2 feet in front of the other one.
Yeah, well,
So,
you know what? Here's the other thing, and I know you're not a big fan of the short numbers. In the last year and a half, 3 for 10 when the blinkers come off. So John may be realizing she doesn't need the blinkers.
Anthony, she's never run a step in her entire life.
I understand.
He's 150 to 1. If you want to bet her, have at it. I just don't understand.
I thought this was a race that was.
It's a tough race. She's just never run a step in her entire life.
I like her cutting back.
She's going from a mile to 7 furlongs. It's a difference.
She's going from 2 turns to 1 turn.
So what? Okay. Okay. Good luck. Good luck. I found this to be a tricky race. And, you know, I kind of went to the trainer change with Ms. Bombastic and the layoff. Ms. Bombastic began her career like she might actually have a little bit of ability on the turf. Her first race was fine. Her second turf race was actually good enough to beat these. And then she just completely and totally fell apart. Now she's in a new barn, and she gets the freshening. I don't love her, believe me, but I don't like anybody else in here. I mean, yeah, Emirates Affair can win this race. Turnbacks on the turf, it's not a big cutback because it's 7 furlongs, but it's a barn that's 3 for 34 with them. I thought Alpha Babe was somewhat logical. She was wide, not really handling the turns last time. She didn't run that badly in the race she was in last time. It wasn't a very good field. I found this to be, I think Alpha Babe is perfectly fine in here. I found this to be a very, very hard race to like anybody. I mean, the first are Harvey's Princess for Bill Mott. It's a first foal. There's a turf in the second family. Actually, second dam was a horse that Mig used to ride. I even think Super Splendor isn't totally impossible in this race. A half to a very bad horse that won on the turf. I think got a 42 buyer, and it's really more of a dirt family. But in this race, I wouldn't be dismissive of any first-time starters. This seems to be a race where there's no talent. I mean, I get what you're saying with picking your horse. The horse has just had his chances and never done a stitch of running.
I'll blow your mind now. When I watched the replay, I kind of felt that out of that Cherokee Song race, Alpha Babe and Daily Briefing, which is kind of out to nowhere. I don't disagree with what you said about Alpha Babe not really cornering well is not the right word, but she just didn't. And now she gets the big turn here, and she only has to deal with 1 turn. So,
and she's a trainer change to Rob Actress, which shouldn't be ignored.
No.
I'm not a big fan of hers. I'm not really sure she even loved the turf, to be honest with you. I mean, you had a great idea with Patty D last time out, but now it's 7 furlongs, and even though there's nobody really in here, it feels like some of these horses are better than the ones she ran against last time.
I don't disagree. I put a 4th.
I don't blame you. I mean,
I don't
great
disagree.
Idea last time.
She just, I mean,
you found the right field.
She found the right field, and she couldn't close the door. Now she's got to go an extra furlong, and she has some horses in here that look like they're a lot better. Not, I wouldn't say a lot, but certainly have potential to be better than what she faced.
No,
last time
I don't disagree. I mean, I'm not going to say she's impossible.
Right, she's
and
not
she'll
impossible.
still be a decent enough price, but she's not going to be anywhere closer than 30 to 1, and that was a better spot to be taking a shot
question
with
about
her.
it.
So, yeah, I agree.
And the cat's kind of out of the bag because she's 10 to 1 on the morning line. There are places to go in here, but she's not going to be 31 to 1 today.
Listen, Ostracize could win, but I tried Ostracize last time, and I know the horse had a wide trip, but the horse was absolutely brutal.
And she'll, I would imagine a horse like her takes a little bit of money in here because there are some unknowns, but I don't.
Her last race was pitiful.
Awful.
Wide or not, she was pitiful.
Yeah, I don't really want her.
So I don't.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
We just put her right in the winner's circle.
No, I'm not. I just said her last race was pitiful. It was terrible.
It was awful.
I'm not saying she can't win. In fact, I started the conversation saying she could win. Race number 5 kicks off the late pick 5, ends the early pick 4 and early pick 5 as well. We'll show a replay of Irad Ortiz and Anthony's pick in race number 5, Happy Farm. Have at it.
So Happy Farm gets his Lasix back today, and I think that's the most important part of this conversation because it's 2 races with Lasix. It's just without Lasix, it's just abysmal. He gets his Lasix back. He's going to have to deal with some speed.
What about Aristocratic?
He's going to have to deal with some speed. There was a place in time where Happy Farm was taken off the pace and was able to close and win. It just so happens that the 2 times that happened, the guy who was on his back today is on his back again. Is this the smartest thing to do with a horse like this? I don't know.
Not
but
great
if
numbers on training.
no,
sessions,
not
Rob.
great numbers. And this horse has changed barns a couple of times now.
They're not terrible numbers. They're just not great
Right,
numbers.
they're not
And
great
some might think
numbers.
they're really good,
Yeah.
and they aren't. That's why I
Right.
showed it. Those numbers are not bad. I don't mean it as it's
No,
just
they're
more,
not- they're
it's
not
more of
great,
a-
they're not
for those of
terrible.
you that think that maybe a switch to Rob Atras, and he's 5 for 33.
He's 1 for 6.
He's 5 for 33, 15%, $1.34 ROI in sprints for what it's worth.
They won. They win. They win 1 for.
They
they're 1 for
underachieve,
6. Yeah,
but-
they underachieve. But
I
he has to deal with Aristocratic. No question, he has to deal with Aristocratic. I mean, is Aristocratic as fast as he used to be?
yes,
I don't know if he's as fast as he used to be.
it's pretty quick.
But if I was a Rad,
Is Happy Farm?
no. And I think, you know what? I think that might be beneficial for Happy Farm today, to just let him go off and clear and do what Happy Farm has done under a Rad a couple of times already in his career.
Okay. I'm not a fan. He's going to be a super short price with the scratch the 6
Yeah,
and
he will.
IRAD riding. And I picked him third, and I hear what you're saying, and I'm not going to argue that it's a possibility. I don't particularly like him. I'm scared of T Loves a Fight, who hasn't won in quite a while, but he does at least get some pace to run at. And in this field, I think he has to be considered a player. I'm going to hope that Coppertown, coming in from Keeneland for Wesley Ward, can be effective in this race. And he's another horse who's forward. And to be honest, I don't have any real confidence that he's a rater. Now, he has rated in 1, but he rated in a bad field at Keeneland, but he did get a 101 buyer, but that was about 7 years ago. It is amazing when you saw him back. When you saw him back, where you saw his name, you went, is that the horse that Todd used to have that was really fast?
Like what you do, because I see what you'll post the overnight. I always wait for the overnight to come out on draw day. And I looked and I was like, I thought Pletcher had a stakes horse named Coppertown once. And then I was like, oh, it's Coppertown.
It is funny when they
but
show up.
and it's not. Look, this horse took.
He won at Belterra.
Went to
you know,
Belterra. You know what I mean?
That Belterra Belmont move, because the similar name, the BEL, it actually works. It's
And
like
it's Belterra Park, Belmont Park.
I've been to Belterra
Have you really?
when it was River Downs.
I think I've passed by it.
It's in Cincinnati. I used to go there when I was at Keeneland. I mean, listen, look at the last race he was in, Bango and Strike Power. You know, the race before that.
Hawk Creek
I mean,
Hustle,
ran
yeah.
better horses. Wesley Ward shipping in here with these horses. It just seems like they run okay. I took him on a hope it's a Wesley Ward shipping in that's live. I don't have a lot of confidence in anybody in here. I tried to make Home Run Maker off the claim, but he just seems like his form has eluded him for quite a while.
Yes.
It's been a while. But not to say that maybe Natalia Lynch couldn't wake him up and get him to run. Tried to make him. I mean, I've had enough of Clench. I feel like Clench could win here, but
Clench could
where
win.
are his good races really
I
good
think the
enough,
case
I
you can
guess?
make for Clench is
fast enough.
He was in that race last time where nobody moved against Always Sunshine and Square Shooter, and his overall and he's one of these horses.
oeuvre?
His races
oeuvre?
his races at
Or-
Belmont seem to be a little bit better than his races at other places. He's at the very least he's had more success here than he's had anywhere else. Half of his wins have
Probably
come
in
here.
the right spots. but-
So, and well, I don't disagree, but and this might I don't know if this isn't the right spot for him too. He's another one. He gets some pace, and this is a horse that used to have a little more positional speed than he has now. But if
No, he was on the pace last time. The pace was slow. No, he's not impossible.
Yeah,
You've got him second. I've got him fourth. I'm not going to fall out of my chair when he wins this race. I'm surprised you don't have Teal as a fight anywhere in here. I mean, aren't you just afraid of all Noda horses?
Well, I had one. Yeah, I know.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm
I hear what you're saying.
not.
He's just been. He really
he's
hasn't.
unreliable. I agree.
Yeah, he hasn't responded in his last 2 races. He just hasn't.
But last
run.
time he ran, he broke the gate open in this situation, sloppy track. I don't
Yeah.
know. Listen, I don't believe me. I'm not in love, but I'm going to have Noda horses in there because right now their horses are on that Noda streak.
You make
And
a
when they
great
go
point,
back
Andy.
to sleep, I'll stay away from them.
You make a great
We will
point.
take a quick break, and we'll be back.
Make business meetings exquisite. Make a weekend outing exquisite. Make a late night snack exquisite. Make a night on the town exquisite. For nearly 150 years, the Saratoga Spring Water Company has been producing the finest spring water available anywhere. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
We were remiss in reminding people that Talking Horses is presented by Saratoga. We're heading up to Saratoga for a couple days with
nice.
with the most important man in racing on Sunday.
Nigel Thompson.
See, it's obvious. You don't even need to say his name.
No.
It's Naja and the rest of us.
I don't think he's. I think I'm waiting 3 weeks for a call back from him.
He's too important for
Who
you,
can
Anthony.
count anymore?
He's too important for you now. He needs.
At one point, I'm going to have to take my shoes off to
He needs
use
an
my toes.
assistant to take his
does.
calls. And tell you what, though, I call. He answers. I'm just letting you know where we stand. That's the difference between you and I.
Big man
you
on
can't get a
campus,
call
sir.
back, and for me, he answers. I'm just that
It
right
is
there
what it is.
the whole difference. Race number 6, we'll put Win with Pride right on top for my boy Anthony. And,
Yes.
and obviously he can win, and it's the Notas once again. But he feels like last time the time, and I will tell you one thing about this horse. He is the very definition of unreliable. He is. I mean,
I
he-
can't
all
deny-
during
I
his
can't argue
career,
that.
no matter who had him, he could run well one week and terrible the next, and then come back and run well. It just feels like he has a very unreliable streak in him. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's absolutely fair. The way he won last time, and
They knew.
he kind of kicked off the Nota run again. He was one of the first ones. He was like the trailblazer. The way he ran and responded last time, 2 starts back, since the blinkers went on, this horse is kind of. I'm not saying he's as potent as he used to be, but he's kind of found his way a little bit with the blinkers and saved that start 2 back where he just he didn't break well, and his day was kind of over.
He only has one eased with blinkers. Is that the?
Well, he didn't break that way. And he kind of rushed. And
He didn't break the valley. But okay.
His other races, since the blinkers
He's the
went
same
back
horse
on.
with blinkers. He isn't without blinkers.
No, what I'm
Occasionally
saying
he
is
runs well.
going in when he tailed off form. Something woke him up. I think it was the blinkers. He got bet off the board that day when he won. When the blinkers went back on, he got crushed in the pick 4 that day.
No, that was the day that there was the pick 4 got crushed.
But he was 7-1 when he was a big number on the line that day. Anyway, the blinkers seemed to have woken him up a little bit, and he seemed to be pointing in the right direction last time. He responded off the claim for Nota. Rosario stays. I mean, he's drawn outside in a race where he should get a pretty good setup again.
He's the favorite. I get it.
Yeah, and this is one that I thought about putting Manifest Destiny on top, but this horse was just too good for me last time, as unreliable as he can be.
Okay. I think he's the last time was the time horse. He's
Okay.
unreliable, but obviously he can win the race. And I wouldn't take a big stand against him, but I thought this was a wide open race. I thought that Play the Funny Music could win. I thought that Eagle Pass could win. I thought Manifest Destiny could win. I think that Skylar Scramja has an outside chance. I think Brush Country is a little bit interesting in this race because it should be a race that has some pace going forward, and we'll see if that helps or hurts Win with Pride, the pace. So I thought there were a lot of live horses in this race, and my general feeling was to take horses in the 6 and 10 that were going to be bigger prices, because in a race where I feel like there's many that can win, I want to take the bigger prices in here. As far as Manifest Destiny, I understand he's a horse that hasn't won in quite a while, but he's got plenty of figures that are fast enough to compete in this race, and he's taking a significant drop down. He's not a mile and a 16th, and the turf was a crazy spot for him. He didn't even run that badly in the race with Cecilia Mike and Runaway Loot. He was dueling outside on a gold rail that day, so he chased outside and was a bit against it, and I think those are better horses. He drops back down, and this is the first time he's raced the bottom level for Bob Glaceris, and he's going to be a fair price. I just thought he was a reasonably logical type horse if you're looking for alternatives.
He'll be on all my pick 4 and pick 5 tickets.
As far as the number 10 horse in here, Brush Country, sloppy track last time, claimed by Jeff Englehart. Now, Jeff Englehart doesn't have particularly great numbers off the claim, but he does fine. And, maybe getting back to a dry track, his race on a dry track 2 back, he ran a figure that's close enough to be competitive here. It was the bottom level. I'm not thrilled with him, but I thought if this race fell apart, he could be a horse that would come running. So I wanted to go to those 2 horses, just as horses at slightly bigger prices.
Okay.
That was it. Nothing.
Listen, again, a horse like Brush Country, I left him open as well.
Might not be
It
good
does
enough.
bother me that his best race clearly in recently was when it was at the bottom.
No, I couldn't agree more with that. I think that's very, very fair. I mean, I'm not going to pick Clear the Mine, who you could say is a little bit interesting, but I'll say 2 things about him. He's ex-Safi Joseph. He's been in some pretty sharp barns, and he gets Irad Ortiz, so he's guaranteed to be an underlay. So, I guess Clear the Mine could win. All the accoutrements are he's going to be a big underlay, and there's a lot of reasons to be suspect. As much as I like Horatio de Paz, he's coming from some barns that win, and they win at high percentage, and he's an ex-$7,500 claimer not too long ago.
He is. He is. He probably kept a little bit better company at Oaklawn than some of the horses that
How about
he's
Remington
facing today.
How about Remington?
I'm talking about in his last 3 or 4 starts. I don't listen. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Those were for Saffie Joseph.
Yeah.
Was a guy who wins at a very high percentage. And so it seems to me, Saffie Joseph and Irad Ortiz, to me, is a good horse to play against. Not that he's impossible. We skipped a replay. Nah, we'll skip it. We'll skip it. Francisco, do you mind? You okay, Francisco? Okay. I just want to make sure he's
I
okay.
love how he answers. Yep.
I was asking him if he was very upset.
It's very nice of him that he responded to
I'm
you.
a super thoughtful guy.
We've moved on, Andy.
Race number 7. We'll take a look at the race that a bunch of these come out of: Mooring Breeze, Frosted Ice, and Binkster. Mooring Breeze, he just doesn't win, and this was his chance, but he doesn't win. Trouble was a crazy overbet favorite, so of course he won by nose. I'm going to take Binkster to wire the field. I hope Manny sends Binkster. Go to the front, wire him. That's my plan.
Okay.
You know, you look at him last time when he came back at Belmont in June, needed a race, didn't run the battle. He goes to Saratoga and runs 2 good figures against better horses than these: Stan the Man, My Boy Tate, Yaupan. And last time out, sort of a similar jump, and I'm hoping he can improve off of that race, and I'd like to see him try to be the speed. So
he's going to have to deal with stage left, because I don't think Johnny's going to. I don't think from the rail Johnny's going to give anybody a free ride in here.
Okay. That's fair.
And I would imagine that if Johnny is as aggressive as I think he's going to be, I can see them. It's part of the reason I don't like Binkster today. I think Binkster's at his best.
Well, Binkster's faster than
he
the
is,
stage left,
but
Johnny could go on a mission.
I don't think he's going to get in front of him today. Okay. I don't disagree with you. I don't think he's going to get in front of him today, and I think that kind of neutralizes.
Well,
him
doesn't that
bit.
help a horse like Frosted Ice try to come from way back last time?
It does. It does.
He's got to show somewhere he's fast enough to win here. I'm going to use him.
That's the problem.
Because I got a bit of a marriage to him.
We've been waiting for 2 years for this horse to run fast enough to.
Well,
compete.
he just never improved in that 2-year-old for him, and I haven't. I've been waiting one start, but I thought that Michelle Nevin might improve him.
Are you proud of me that I didn't come back with Silly Key? This is a horse that I would have, in the past, would have just
Anthony,
fired
it's
on.
a step. But I'm gonna wait.
It's a long way to
while
go. It's a long way to
you,
go. Long way to Tipperary.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at Silly Key's last race. The reality is, based on the 88 buyer, he runs that here, he's going to win. I'm not buying the fig.
This was a weird track, right? Because it's not, I mean, I don't see a lot of moisture in it. It kind of sped up a little bit. It was just one of those weird tracks where.
Slow pace,
Yeah.
and he managed to run a fast final time.
Yep.
But I just had a little trouble buying it at face
Where'd it
value.
come from?
But,
It's his best race by far.
But just got okay numbers off of wins in dirt races. For what it's worth, though, with horses not coming off their maiden wins, she's 25%, but the ROI isn't that high. He just feels like a last time was the time horse.
Does.
But
He does.
I'm not going to be shocked when he's effective here.
I'm not either. I put him third, and if
Maybe the light went off again.
Yeah, maybe the light went off again, and maybe that break, the 2.5 months, really helped him.
Different horse last time, more speed. He's the horse he was before he went the wrong way. To be honest with you, a horse that could put himself a little bit in the game, slower pace or not. I won't be surprised. What do you?
Now I know you're not going to pick a horse like Fort Worth,
Well,
but to not have this horse in your top 4.
Why? How's he competitive here?
How's he competitive?
We'll look at his win 2 back. Well, he's not fast enough to beat these, and he's got Irad Ortiz on, so he's absolutely the kind of horse that I will be betting against. I don't like this horse, and I don't like him at all.
Okay, so save Now 'Tis Time and Stage Left, and Stage Left is obviously playing Now 'Tis Time would be a little tough to make. He's running against 4 other New York breds here.
Okay.
And his New York bred form, he's kept company with Celtic Chaos.
His last 3 races are too slow to be competitive here, for my money.
But what about the race off the bench in Saratoga?
No, I don't think just because he ran it off the bench, he's going to run it off the bench this time. And I don't need to take a short price to find out. I think as a 5-2 shot, I want to book him and not bet him. So there's no chance he's on my tickets. I'm not interested in this horse at all.
I mean,
okay, we disagree.
Yeah, I
don't like this horse at all today.
Yeah, he was.
I'll fall out of my chair if he wins, but when he wins, it pays $680 or $740. I'm good. Glad I didn't bet him because I didn't like him.
Okay.
What's so compelling about him?
I just think his best race was. You might be able to argue his best 2 races were his debut and his race off the layoff. He's going to get.
No, his second career start was the best race he ever ran.
Yeah,
Come on, Ann, stop.
I guess. I mean, behind Chancelot and Bodie Express, and then the 87 off a year plus.
Right, but just because Chancelot won that day doesn't mean that he ran the race he ran in the Amsterdam. He's run fine fresh. I get it.
Yeah,
If he was 9-2 in here, I'd have no problem putting him on my tickets. At 5-2 with Irad, this is exactly the kind of Irad Ortiz horse that I am looking to bet against.
Okay.
That's just as simple as that.
But to not,
you really think he should be favored in this race? You think he's the likeliest winner
I
in
think
this race?
Stage Left should be favored in this race.
Why?
Because Stage Left is going to be save Binkster. Stage Left is going to be forward.
Okay.
He's another horse that runs pretty well fresh for a barn that ships up, and I mean everything is kind of run. Even the horses that have gotten beat have run okay. I don't know. I feel like Wesley comes up with a 10.
2-year-olds.
Yeah, but I mean even.
But they've been 2-year-olds. I'm not sure that he's
This horse
running.
is training well at Keeneland. This horse, to me, this was 1s and 7s, and I know that's chalky. I'm going to try and hit a price.
It makes you feel better. The 7th was my 5th choice. If it makes you feel better.
I don't.
Yeah, I think he's exactly the kind of horse that I want to spend my life betting against. Fort Worth.
Okay.
We'll see. Race number 8, I think. Oh, wait. Stage Left. Francisco, we had a replay for Stage Left. You could have gotten. There you go. Let's put up that replay of Stage Left. This is a win at Saratoga. This was the win. It was such a perfect segue. And both Francisco and I were asleep at the switch.
This was not the toughest bunch he's ever going to face.
That's the thing. This was a very weak field.
Not the toughest
I don't
bunch
trust
he's ever
this
gonna
horse, but I think if you're like me and you like Coppertown for Wesley, you can like this horse. The thing is, Coppertown was going to be a better price. I'm not sure how much of a better price he's going to be right now.
And
he can win, by the way. I got no problem.
Yeah, and I do believe that because if you look at his card, and Johnny's going to, he's going to be. I think he's going to be on a send from the rail today. I think it makes him tough.
Race number 8. I kind of copped out in race number 8. We'll go back to a race 3 back, 2 back in turf races back here at beautiful Belmont Park when Clickatat ran against one of your favorite horses, Great on a Curve. I thought he ran terrific this day. I thought he was a bit dressed up, and then he ran this race. Anthony, I don't love him. I don't know. This is a weird race, right?
Dirt
horses.
One of the strangest races I've handicapped a lot of races in the last 3 weeks. This was one of the races.
It's a weird race.
I looked at the race 4 times.
It's a weird race.
Weird race.
I mean, listen, I don't like Cold Hard Cash or Just Right. I've got Just Right, I think, was my 5th pick. He does have a little bit of turf pedigree. These are just not the kind of horses I normally take. They've had all these chances on dirt. I wouldn't be shocked if either of them ran. I just thought Clickatat might be the best horse in the race. He's supposed to be favored, and because Irad Ortiz riding Good Old Boy, who you felt compelled to pick, you're going to get a better price on him. I think you should, and I think he's supposed to be a clear-cut favorite here.
Clickatat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Clickatat?
Clickatat.
What does that mean? Where's that come
I don't know.
By the way, we're settling on Bourbonic. I know you had a run for being right. David Aragona is adamant that it's Bourbonic.
So he's automatically right.
Well, Johnny, I thought it was too.
Okay.
And he's pretty good too, wouldn't you admit?
He's
and
great.
Todd Pletcher's calling him Bourbonic now too. Now, he may be calling him Bourbonic
Just because they're all conformists, Andy, doesn't mean that I have to go along with it. I'm calling him Bourbonic. And that's
What is it? It's Bourbonic. Eric says he confirmed it with a farm.
Okay.
It's not good enough for Anthony. Thank
That
you, Eric,
makes no
for
sense,
doing that,
but
but it's not good
okay.
enough for Anthony. Anthony wants to call him Bubba.
Okay.
Just call him Bubba from now on. That could be your name for him. Bubba.
If
call him Bubba.
That's what Brad says. That's what Brad says. Call
Brad
him
Kelly.
Yeah. That's fine. It doesn't make any sense, but okay. Got it. I don't even.
Eric,
how do we come up with Bourbonic? How do we
he's
come up
taking
with
it very
Bourbonic
hard,
in here?
Eric.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
I have absolutely no idea, by the way.
And this is Bolt D'Oro again. It's not Bolt D'Oro. It's Bolt D'Oro.
All right, let's move on.
You brought him up.
I know. I agree.
I don't
I'm
even
an
know
idiot.
how.
What do you like about Good Old Boy?
So Good Old Boy. I mean,
I'm asking what you like about him.
You have the problem with the Arad thing.
Well, it's not a problem. It's a fact. He is an underlay on the horses, and unless you really can't find an alternative, you're supposed to be going against him. You can continue to misunderstand that, but that doesn't make me wrong. In fact, I'm 100% right about this, Anthony.
I don't see it that way.
Well, I get it, but you're wrong.
I think he's going to get a decent enough setup in here. And, this horse he had good races at Belmont and Saratoga last year.
Okay.
I think he's going to get a good setup with Dr. Shane from
But you're betting the favorite and you think he's going to get a good setup. If you're betting a horse because you think he's going to get a good setup, you're supposed to at least get a price because that's an implication that you don't think he's really good enough to win.
I thought long and hard in here.
And settled on Irad.
I settled on Irad. That's what I did.
I thought Step Dancer was dangerous. We'll take a look at his his win, in the Awad. They look like they're crawling. He got a great trip.
That one I know was right, by the way.
I know. The one thing about Step Dancer is he ran with better horses. I know he got some good trips. He didn't benefit from the post in here. But if one of the horses in this race turns out to be okay going forward, it's going to be him. I didn't put him on top, but I think he's very dangerous in here. I don't think you'll disagree.
No, I don't. I put him third.
I thought you'd have him on top. I'm surprised. This one I expected you to pick. That's why I put the replay up, just for you.
First time.
I did this for you, and you don't even appreciate it.
I do.
Really
I'm touched.
Thank you. I feel better now.
Yeah, he can win.
He's very logical, I think. He's got a lot of room to improve, more than the other. I don't think our horse should take a big step.
I came very close. It sounds ridiculous. I put the horse fourth. I came very close to taking a little shot with Just Right in here. My problem is, like you said, he has a little turf pedigrees. I have to mend him. Who's hit the board in mischief.
He bet him some money.
He's midway through his 5-year-old year. He's run almost 20 times, and they've never run this horse on the turf.
No, I hear
you kind of feel like all right. Well, we'll kind of add a dirt race, add a dirt spots for him. He's not fast enough to win on the dirt. Let's see what he can do on the turf. It's kind of feels like you're throwing the hands up in the air.
On the other hand, maybe you'll like it.
Maybe you'll like it.
Right. And he's got enough pedigree to suggest that he could.
He absolutely does.
Right. So I feel the same way, to be honest. Race number 9. Because I love to torture myself.
Speaking of Calumet Farm,
let's take a re-look at Frat losing and I didn't think it was an unlucky loss. It's just a shocking loss. I thought he couldn't lose this race. I thought, how did I get almost 3.5 to 1 on this horse? And here came Scuttlebuzz. This was incredible.
Look where this horse comes from.
This was some.
These are the beats I usually take. You took this.
I remember watching this in disbelief. It wasn't a tough beat in the sense that Frat had absolutely no excuse to lose the race. It's just like I couldn't believe that he lost. And like in that situation, nevertheless, he's a logical horse. I'll use him. I got him second.
Those are the worst, where it's like impending danger, the last 1/8 of a mile. You just see these horses coming. Yeah, I mean.
I usually do the countdown. I figure there's like 10 seconds left. Can he just get 10 seconds more? I was watching that turf spinner at Kimmel's that I bet the other day in the last race. I had already gotten back in the city, and I was walking to Fairway, and I was watching on my phone. And I was
the 5 horse, right?
Yeah.
Corey Scores got
Somebody got mad. I did the lean in the subway getting Barron home on Sunday. I was doing the lean. You don't get a lot of good subway leans, You don't get too many opportunities because you usually can't get reception.
I've never been able to watch a race on the subway. I haven't been on when there's been Wi-Fi down.
So, we're back to Luis Saez. Bookending Luis Saez.
When I looked down just now, I was like, oh, God, here we go.
Kieran, whatever you sent him, I'd like one.
He didn't say a word.
Whatever you sent him, seriously, I'd like one too.
And Neho. This horse was scratched the other day when he didn't get in from the also eligible list.
Okay.
Working well down at Keeneland. Half the Twisted Tom.
He's working well on the dirt.
Yes. Half the Twisted Tom.
Who's not a turf horse.
Who's not a turf horse. He did win on the turf, though.
Yes, but he's not a turf horse.
2 of the 7 siblings have one on the turf.
Including Twisted Tom. The other 5 were awful.
Yeah. Listen, there's a bunch of.
Is there a tip on this horse?
No. A bunch of horses that have already been in for the tag. A few other horses in here that are coming off layoffs. They can all win. I'm going to take a shot with a little bit of a fresh face.
He is totally a fresh face. For Luis Saez. Then you're going down to see Louis after this. That's why you did it.
Oh, why did he?
Because you knew, and now you can just tell Louis that you just give him a big hug.
Now I'm pumped.
Louis, I hope you're excited to see Anthony after all the love that he's shown you.
I might not have to. Michelle may have taken care of it.
The Great Gazoo, is that Flintstones?
Yes, the Great Gazoo is the Martian.
I actually thought about throwing that horse in. Linda Rice has 2 in here. One of them is Fast Gordon. We'll take a look at Fast Gordon finishing second last time out in September. I mean, he runs this race. Isn't he way the horse to beat?
Yeah, he's supposed to get a piece of this. He already had this is his second 6+ month layoff. I don't love that. But yes, if this horse runs this race, and they was Linder second off the layoff last time. They dropped this horse right in. And then you can't even argue. You can't even say, well, turf season was ending. It was.
I bet the horse.
10 weeks left.
He did have no excuse
None.
in here, but he lost to a better horse and on the couch. So
He
I
did.
can't. I think he's very logical. I took the other Linda horse. The Dam is 4 starts in the turf, 2 wins, and a second. It's her first foal. I just thought that Feathers Road had the pedigree, and they'd probably be looking at the other Linda horse, so maybe I get a better price here. So I put Feathers Road on top. I think King Moon Racer cutting back is not impossible. Here's a Linda stat. Second start, first time in the turf in a sprint and a maiden special. He's got good numbers. I thought Feathers Road might get a little ignored here and had some pedigree. This is a fun race, I thought, to close
It
out.
is.
I actually like this
It
race.
is.
I found this card to be very tough. I took some shots at prices and such, but it's a bit tricky. I have to go call your good friend Rob Dibble.
I was a Nasty Boys guy. I was not a big Oakland A's fan, so I was happy when they beat the A's back in '90, I guess.
I have a friend that was it 88? Was it 88 or
That was
something?
that
90?
was the Dodgers. I don't want to talk about that.
Was that the year they had Rio?
The
friend
Reds?
who made an enormous amount of money when they beat the A's in that.
Yeah,
Two
that's
friends
what I
actually.
said. It was 1990.
They bet them and they kept pressing.
Right,
every
89
game.
was the earthquake.
You know that I was at a Dead Show, and since it was Giants and the A's, they were playing the game over the PA between sets when the earthquake happened.
I was at a Pearl Jam show
Meadowlands.
during the Phillies Yankees World Series.
I was too. I was across the street during one of the games when they played the Spectrum, the closing Spectrum. Head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member. I think you went with Jason, right?
I did.
Yeah.
That was the only.
You
night,
went one
the only
night. I
game
went
the
another
Phil-
night.
The only
There
night
were
the
4 or
Phillies
5
won.
shows. And you guys went one night. I went
Yep.
another night. It was right before the opening of Aqueduct. It was like the week before. It was around Halloween. The last show was Halloween. Head over to NairaBets.com. Promo code MATCH200. We will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. Also, through Naira Bets, 50-50 on the Churchill and Belmont races today. And all of those races will be shown on America's Day at the Races from 3 to 5:30 on FS2. Maggie and I will be kicking it off upstairs.
That's fun.
I'm looking forward to it. Always have a good time with Mag. All right, we're done.
See you tomorrow.
We'll do this again tomorrow.
Usual time.
Give Luis Saez your best. Let him know that you're rooting hard for him today. He'll probably win 3, and it'll be 3 horses you didn't pick. Actually, I don't know if he
Thanks,
has any
Andy.
mounts you didn't pick.
Appreciate that. Thanks for always rooting for me, pal.
Okay.
Johnny I's up next with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes.
I always root for you. What are you talking about? Stop. We'll see you later.